Hi, everyone. This is a recording of a PD remote session that we had in Sturgeon Public Schools back on Friday, April 17th. And in the session, we took a look at how we can use Google Slides as an assessment strategy with students. You will note that the slide link is available through the bit.ly link here, and it will remain open for teachers to access these slides and the links within and the resources within at any point, so that link will stay live. And before we get too far ahead, I just want to point out a few things. One, first of all, this particular strategy and ultimately session is for all teachers of all content areas of almost all grade levels, probably about grade 2 and up. And because this tool has so many options and opportunity in it, just know that you can design and create whatever content and activity you need to based on the curriculum that you are teaching. The other thing I want to add is that this session is not an introduction to Google Slides. We are building upon our understanding of Google Slides. So it's a little bit more intermediate, and we are going to build on some skills that we already have in Google Slides and tweak our thinking about them a little bit, so then we can start to use them quite intentionally with our kiddos. So what we're going to do together is we're going to take a look, we're going to tweak our thinking of slides, like just kind of how can we think about them a little bit different. We are going to take a look at the different media and the different things that can be included in Google Slides so that you can design them quite intentionally. And then we'll take a look at, again, how can students respond with slides and what could activities actually look like, or some suggestions around types of activities so that you can hit the ground running when you're designing your own slides. Now, before I get too far ahead, I want to pause and ask the question, why slides? Why would we want to use Google Slides to get assessment? Could the kids just not create presentations? And the answer is yes, but here's why slides. When you think of your classroom and your role as a teacher and the different ways that you are gathering data to know whether your students are understanding the curriculum or not, you're actually paying attention to several things. Yes, you are paying attention to the things that they give back to you, written work, completed worksheets, and projects. But you're paying attention to other things too. You're paying attention to the way that they answer questions that you ask them. You are paying attention to the dialogue that is happening between students. You are observing how they are working with manipulatives, how they're interacting with content, how they are responding to images, video, things like that. And so it's never just as simple as receiving written work and worksheets and projects and assessing these final pieces and then handing them back. There's lots of data that you are gathering in the middle, and in addition to these more summative type pieces. So why slides? Because you can have all of those pieces in there. You can have manipulatives. Students can provide video and audio pieces within slides. And so there's just a number of different ways that students can interact with slides that perhaps we wouldn't have considered before, but it gives you added data to whether your students understand or don't. And particularly for those kiddos that might struggle with text output, so they might know content, but the text output is tricky, then this is just kind of a little bit more of a UDL differentiated strategy that gives all students an ability to demonstrate what they know, but without adding those additional limitations of worksheets and text output. So really, we're just kind of tweaking the way that we've looked at presentations in the past. Traditionally, we've often used slides or PowerPoint as I have information to give you. But now what we're doing is we're thinking about them in such a way that using slides as how can I get information back, right? So here are some of the different ways that we will take a look at slides. And before we just start diving in, we can look at slides in a way that we've used manipulatives. You can have manipulatives on slides. They could be like a photo album. They can have photos in there. It could be a tradition, like it could be a workbook or a journal, and each slide is a different page. It could be a more traditional worksheet, and each section on the worksheet is a different slide. It could be an interactive lesson where it's a give and take of content. You give some content and then get some back. So it's this interaction back and forth of I give you and you give me. It can also house video in it. And so it could be both just video reflections or video explanations, or it can house all of those things in it. So when we start to think then of slides, we're not just using it as a way for them to present content, but it's just if we organize them in a certain way, then they can actually give us information around how well do you understand that curriculum that I'm sharing with you. So as we continue with just what I had suggested in the overview, what we're going to do is we're going to actually abandon these slides and go into a little bit of a sandbox. And in there, we'll do some practice with creating objects, video, putting in screenshots and media. We will take a look at the zoom feature, how you can zoom in and out and why that might be an advantage. And even just the camera tool, what can we do with the camera tool that perhaps we hadn't thought of in the past. Okay, so from here, I'm going to escape out of this presentation and I'm going to go, the very next slide asks me to go to the group sandbox. And so there's a sandbox that I have created. I'm going to change the view of it. And if you get the opportunity, again, I will keep these slides live. And so you can feel free to follow the instructions and do exactly what's in the sandbox. But here's what we're going to do. First of all, we are going to the instructions say to right click on slide 3, select duplicate, enter your name in the appropriate text box, and then we're going to practice by adding all of these things to the personal slide. So I've created a demo here, and I'll go through all of these pieces later. I'm going to delete this. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and do what the instructions say. So I'm going to right click on slide 3, duplicate slide, and then this is going to be my demo slide. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you how to do all of these things, but before I do, let me just kind of take you into the one that I've already created. So the first thing that I want to include is the use of images. And there are several different ways to include images, but the ones we will use for now are, we're going to do an external image that you could do a Google search for. There is a screenshot image that we can include, and then there's also a camera image. So I'm going to walk you through. So this one is a camera image. This one is a Google search image. And then I didn't include a screenshot image, but I will show you that one as well. So first, for example, I might be doing a new unit on penguins, and so I want to include an image. I'm just going to slide this first. I have access to that tool on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert. You can either do it here or you can use the Explore tool on the bottom right. But I'm going to go image and I'm going to go search the web. And it's going to open a essentially a search right within my tab. And I'm going to search for penguins. And then there's a number of images that pop up. And so I'm going to pick this particular image and I'm going to pull it in. Okay, so now why might I do this? Well, I could ask the students to, I want you to label the different parts on the penguin. Or I might create this in such a way that I've got my penguin in the middle and then I've got a box here which asks them, I want you to identify the penguin's habitat. Okay? And then down here, I want to identify, the penguin's diet, different things like that. So there are different things that I can do with images. Or it could be as simple as, so I'm going to delete this for a second. It could be that I'm asking the students to sort. So I want you to sort living things from non-living things. So I might then go and pull in an example of an iceberg. Is this a living thing or a non-living thing? Where's it good? Sure, we'll pull this one in. And so I can have this slide completely full of images, and I can even have them off to the side. They don't actually have to be sitting on, they don't have to be sitting on the slide itself. They can be off the slide. And if I were to create maybe just a line down the middle, and a heading here and a heading here, where this is living things, non-living things, then the kids would then have to manipulate and move the images according to where they go. Okay, so those are external images. Now I want to include, so I'm just going to move these out of the way. Now I'm going to show you how to include a screenshot image. So there might be something that I have on my computer. It could be a math example. It could be an image of a step that I want them to complete, a website that I want them to go to, whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to pop over here. I'm going to use my snipping tool, and it is on every Windows computer. I have made it available by just pinning it to my taskbar, but if you don't have that, you can go down to your search and type in snipping tool. I'm going to click new, and there might be, like I said, there might be something that I want them to see and want them to keep. So this is another way that you can use an image. So I'm going to select copy. I'm going to go back to my sandbox, and I'm going to go paste. Okay. All right. The other way that you can include an image is through the camera tool right on your computer, and the kids have this on Chromebooks as well. And so it could be as simple as, minus 10. Math teachers don't judge my math, but nonetheless, I'm going to go insert, where is it? Image camera. I'm going to slide this over. Okay, and so then it just includes an image right within the slide. And so you could do this for art projects. This could be a portfolio strategy. This could be show me your work. This could be, as you're practicing examples, this could be, I want you to draw a diagram of. This could be, I want you to label blank. So you could use this in a number of ways, but the lovely thing about this is you don't have to deal then with PDFs. There's no printing, there's no formatting, there's no converting of one file to another. It's as simple as here's my hard copy work. Okay. So that is how you include a camera image. So if I go back here, then we've done this one, we've done this one, and we go from there. So I've given you a couple examples as we've included these images on the different things you can do with it. All right, now I'm going to show you some additional pieces. I'm going to just slide this over. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to, okay. I'm going to go add an image, and I'm going to search the web. Move this over again. I'm going to look for the digestive, because maybe there's some work that I want the kids to do with the digestive system, and this is perfect. Why? Because it's unlabeled. I love finding unlabeled images. So I now have this image that is unlabeled, and I will want the students to label it. So instead of giving them a worksheet, instead of saying, here's the PDF, print it off, complete the worksheet, scan it in, and attach it, then now what we can do instead is we're going to create the manipulatives. So what I'm going to do for a second is I'm going to go view, zoom out, and see how now we've got all this space around here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add some text boxes. Okay, so, and I'm going to just create a text box for each term. So stomach, And I'll go and add another one. Another way I could do this is just kind of copy and paste. So stomach, large intestine. I'm sorry, science teachers. My brain is a little bit foggy when it comes to biology. And I don't even know that I spelled that intestine. Oh, that's right. So again, I can select this just to make it quicker. I can go copy and then paste, and it gives me another text box real quick. And then I'm just going to change the text inside it. Okay. So now I've got these text boxes, and if I just kind of move them around, then in my instructions, I'm going to zoom back in. Okay, so in my instructions, I might tell them, zoom out and label the appropriate, label the digestive system with the appropriate terms. Okay? And so then the students, when they get this, that's exactly what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to locate the terms and then move them around. And if I wanted to, I could draw lines or just kind of spots, like identify this as number 1 or number 2, but they would have to move them around and manipulate them to show me what they know. Okay, so that's an image, a screenshot, camera image, objects to manipulate, and we've created a text object, but you can really create any object. So you could even, I'm just going to move this out of the way now. You could even do this. You could even do this with like 10 frames, right? So I could draw a quick, fairly quick 10 frame, and I would probably do that by going insert. I would go table, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there we go. And I'd put this in like that. Press return, so it looks a little bit more even. There we go. And now just kind of move it I want. But then I can insert and I can put them off to the side. There we go. I can change the color of them and I can change the border of them. And then just go copy, paste, 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 paste. Actually, I'm going to undo that. I'm going to do it again. Oh. Okay, let's try that one more time. The reason I did that is because you can't actually see each one. So I will do this again and I will keep the border black and the inside red. That's better. Okay, so copy and then paste, 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 paste. And however many I need. And if I wanted to, I could align vertically. And middle. Okay, so it's just, and then the kids would just grab one, depending on what you're asking them to do. Okay, so that is like you can manipulate any objects. It could be poetry where there's words on the bottom and the kids have to create a poem with particular vocabulary words. And then the last thing I'll show you is just even question prompts. So these are 2 text boxes and in one box I put the question, and then I will typically use a second box for the answer, simply because then the kids aren't messing with the original question just in terms of the formatting, and it's very clear where their response goes. And so they're not getting stuck by formatting. They are paying attention to the question and the response that they need to give. If you give them if you don't give them enough direction on what they need to do, they will get lost. And because you are not there to guide them and work them through their confusion, then the engagement drops. So it needs to be super clear. And so that's why you want to design your slides where your instructions are there. They can do the work. They don't have to deal with attachments or opening or closing or uploading or downloading. It is simple. Do the work right within the slide. Okay. And so again, it can be as simple as here's a text box and I want you to put the answer in here. All right. So that is a couple of different ways to include different media. The last one, of course, actually, and now that I remember, is video. So, and this, you can do this in a number of ways. One, it could be that you provide a video of instructions to them. You create the video just with Screencastify and then pull it in. And it can be here are your instructions for this task, and you clearly lay it out. It could be I want you to watch something. So, and that's what I've neglected to include. So I'm going to go insert video. I want a video on the digestive system. I'm going to search YouTube, but if I've already created one, it could be in my Google Drive. So here's one on the digestive system. It's 11 minutes. Let's do the 4-minute one at least. I'll keep them. It'll for sure they'll watch for 4 minutes. And then I can include it here. And then I could have a text box of just a question for them to answer based on the video that they watch. But on the flip side, the kids could also use Screencastify. So it is possible for students to add Screencastify to their Google account by going to the Chrome store, and then they can create a Screencastify. So it could be a personal, like a self-assessment or a reflection. It could be instead of a written paragraph, it could be, a character analysis, but it's just given verbally. It could be, explain your answer, but it's done through video. So again, video can be extremely powerful and can be a way to know what kids know without relying as heavily on text output. Okay. So as I take a look here, we've reviewed and looked at all the different skills used to do this. Some people have asked about Bitmoji. How do you get Bitmojis on there? And really it is, I went to the Chrome store and I added Bitmoji, the extension. That simple. And so now you can use Bitmojis even as you're giving feedback. You kind of like the thumbs up or whatever. Bitmojis are, I didn't love them before, but I have a newfound appreciation for them. Okay, so as we go back, I had promised that we would take a look at just kind of tweaking our understanding of slides. Like, how could we look at these and use them differently? What are the different media that we could use to incorporate and the ways that we could get kids to respond? And so we've talked about manipulatives, the video, the images, screenshots, hard copy. And these are all examples of data that you can still collect from students in just one slide deck. And here are a number of examples. So if you open this series of slides, you will find that all of these examples here are linked to an actual Google slide that you can make a copy of for yourself and use. So I have created a sample lesson. So it's exactly that interplay. Here's a video I want you to watch, and then I want you to do something in the next slide. Here's an image I want you to consider, and then I want you to find an image for yourself. So it's just this interplay of back and forth. There's a math lesson. This is an algebra one. And so again, it's an example that you can still even use this for math and higher up math, that it doesn't just have to be primary, elementary. This is a little example more for the littler guys, but vowel sound manipulative. So again, it's you're not relying on text output, you're just manipulating, that's all. It could be an exit ticket, it could be a portfolio, it could be a reflective journal. Think of it as an interactive poster. So instead of kids creating those lovely posters that you put up on bulletin boards, it could be interactive. And so now we're pulling in media, different media from across the internet. And how great is that, that you can embed video now into an interactive poster. It could be practice questions. And so just, it could be review questions as you're coming to the end of a unit. And then here's just another one around manipulatives, wrapping our head more around manipulatives. So as we come to an end, I want to just remind you that once the slide deck is created, then how do we get it to the kids? Well, through Google Classroom, right? Like you are going to make it as an assignment for the students in Google Classroom. But here's the important part. When you create the assignment and you attach the series of Google Slides, you want to make a copy for each student. You don't want them to have to create a Google slide. You actually want to be like, here, it's all ready for you. All you need to do is put in what you know here. And the fewer ways there are for them to get lost, the less chance they are of becoming, of losing engagement. So make a copy for each student and it will be their copy. It's kind of like a Xerox machine, one for you, one for you, one for you. Okay. And then when you review them, you just open them in the Google, what's it called now? I had a brain fart. But you're gonna open it and you can provide feedback right within Google Classroom. Marking tool? Whatever. Nonetheless, before I let you go, I just want to point you in the direction of a few resources. Of course, there is the continuing learning website created by our education services team. And there are a number of resources available for teachers, for parents, and for students, but certainly that teacher page is quite full. Use it as a place to get some guidelines and some suggestions, but certainly it's a launch pad to other resources as well. The YouTube channel is full of video tutorials, and that's where this one will be housed as well. So make sure that you subscribe to it because we're adding video content on a regular basis. Many of you know of Blackgold's Engaging Students website, and the Engaging Students website is very good. But what they've been working on more recently within the last couple of years is a website with templates. In other words, I'm a big advocate of not reinventing the wheel. And so you can go here and you will find that there have been Google files, docs and slides that have been created by teachers, used in a class with students. It's just taking a while to load, and then made available. So if there's something that you want, all you have to do is click to open it and then go file, make a copy, and it's yours. And I will show you that Edmonton Catholic has the same thing. And so, it has become probably one of my favorite go-to sites, good job Edmonton Catholic, for getting ready-made templates. And so if you click to go to Edmonton Catholics, it just opens up here. Go to Classroom Resources and Templates, and it's broken down by the application. So here are Google Doc templates. Here are Google Slide templates. And so you'll see long and short vowel sounds. Here is an animation one. Here's the expiratory system. That's Bio 20. And so all you do is you're going to open it and go file, make a copy, tweak what you want to tweak, and then off you go with yours. So in a nutshell, that's assessment with Google Slides. We are rethinking how do we use Google Slides to access what the kids know in a really strategic way, and not just through kids create a presentation, but we're being really strategic with the way that we set them up so that kids can interact with them and we're not relying as heavily on text. Okay? Now, if at any point you have questions, you're not quite sure how to do something, or you want an idea on something, then please feel free to reach out and contact me. I am happy to provide support where and whenever possible. If you're not even sure on what to do and you just need somebody else to troubleshoot or problem solve along with you, then please reach out, and I am look at my screen go, and I am happy to help. Okay. So with that, I'm going to let you go and close everything off, and just want to remind you that you are doing great work. The way that you are adjusting and providing for your students and making sure that they are heard and seen and that the curriculum stays forefront, you are doing good work. Keep it up. And I will be in touch, and there's more content to